What's poppin', ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another segment of Sport Book Buddy, brought to you by PickMonitor.com. It's a great place for you to track your own picks, follow other handicappers, and just get on the path to winning against the sportsbook. Now, I'm Sports Dave. I put in the hard work necessary to make you knowledgeable, confident, and Vegas strong versus your sportsbook. And I come bearing gifts from the Pick Monitor community. I'm here to give you something that you can only get right here from watching these videos, and that is free picks with an analysis. Now, these picks are going to be for Week 3 in the NFL, so you're definitely going to want to hit that subscribe button over there in the corner just to make sure that you're getting notifications when we're giving out more free picks in the future. Now, it's important that you understand how PickMonitor.com works to a certain degree, and that is it's got its own calling card in making sure that it keeps everything transparent and does not make any exceptions to handicappers that are able to pad their stats on other sites. And if you go on the site, you will find real statistics on handicappers that can't be adjusted or edited. You know, it's all real numbers, and if somebody looks like they're good, they are legit. They are a solid capper. So you're going to find out that some guys are real good at picking underdogs. Some guys are real good with certain winning percentages in certain sports. You can also filter the rankings based on specific sports. And this all makes it easier for you to figure out who's legit and who you should actually be following on there. And at the end of the day, you know, we're all looking for some winners to help us cash in some tickets. And, you know, here on these videos, I'm here to share some of the picks from some of our guys that were kind enough to volunteer a pick for the week in NFL Week 3, and also provide a breakdown giving you reasons as to why they like the pick and why they think you will be a happy camper if you decide to follow their play. So, I won't carry on explaining too much about the ins and outs of PickMonitor.com. You can get on there for yourself and get yourself set up with a free account, start tracking your own picks, and follow some of these other handicappers that I'm mentioning in the videos. And if you ever need any help, you can always message me on there. You know, my username is SportsDave, you know, big surprise. So I'm just going to dive into the meat and potatoes of why you probably tuned into this video to basically check out our picks. So I'm going to start with what promises to be one of the more exciting matchups of Week 3, with Baltimore Ravens traveling into Arrowhead Stadium to square off against the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, the line on this game opened with the Chiefs at -6, and at some places it's gotten as high as 7. Some places it's dropped as low as 5.5. So there's definitely a fair amount of action being wagered on this game. So I got a pick from my buddy Del Warfield of Warfield Elite, who, by the way, I had an interview with him yesterday, and if you get a chance, go ahead and please check that out on Facebook. Anyways, Warfield Elite is going to take the points and ride with the Ravens in this game at +6. Warfield Elite is rolling with the squad that he placed a futures bet on at the beginning of the season, taking the Ravens to actually win the AFC, the AFC conference this season. Now, there's about 63% of this action coming in on the Chiefs for this game, and the line is actually reversed down to 5.5. So, you know, the house is obviously hot on the Ravens in this game, and Warfield Elite went as far as to saying that he thinks that the Ravens might even win this game outright. But for the sake of insurance, he's going to take those 6 points and take the Ravens at +6. So if you want to follow Warfield Elite, I highly recommend doing so, and you might want to take the Ravens at +6 for that game. Now, the next pick comes from Faith Familia, who's going to play the under in that Patriots versus Jets game. The total was set at 43.5 points. Actually, it was set as high as 48 in some places. Now, the Faith Familia brand is going to go ahead and back that New England defense, who looks legit this season, guys. Last week, they put up a big fat 0 against the Dolphins. Now, the Jets have to trot out their third-string quarterback with Luke Falk getting a start. And they're going to need to run the ball successfully if they want any chance of winning this game. They're essentially going to need to bleed that clock to shorten the game if the Jets are going to have any chance at winning, which I highly doubt that they do. Now, Faith Familia expects New England to win, of course, but the final score may not be as big a blowout as it was last week in Miami. So the Jets are going to look to hold the ball. You know, they got Le'Veon Bell, so they should have a better time at trying to run the clock out or run the ball. So, anyways, take the under. All right, the next pick comes from Jesse Wansbrough, a.k.a. Jay Wansbrough, who decided to focus his attentions on Lucas Oil Stadium where the Falcons are playing the Colts. Now, Jay Wansbrough is going to say the heck with the points and just take the Atlanta Falcons straight up on the money line where you can get the Falcons at plus 105. Now, he's liking the fact that Atlanta gets to play in a dome where, they're used to playing at home on turf. And he likes the fact that they've got the firepower to, play against the Colts if they happen to get into a shootout. Now, the Falcons, they have an opportunity to take advantage of their division that's gotten weaker over the past week, with Drew Brees going down, possibly being sidelined for up to 8 weeks, and Cam Newton being down as well. And then the Buccaneers are the Buccaneers. So, look for the Falcons to really try and capitalize on the opportunity to take control of the NFC South while their division rivals lick their wounds. Jay Wansbrough is saying to take the Dirty Birds on the money line. All right, so this next pick comes from my buddy Matthew, who goes by HCC96. And HCC96 has been very good to me with these video picks. As I'm recording this video right now, I believe that his college pick is underway, trying to go 6-0. I believe he's 5-0 on these video picks. Anyways, I'm not going to blow smoke and say that this guy's undefeated. I mean, if you go on to pickmonitor.com, you will see that his winning percentage hovers around 60%. But football is definitely one of his better sports to handicap. He's got 24 units in the positive on the sport, and this is out of 128 picks. So basically, if you blindly followed HCC96 on his football picks at $100 a pop, you'd be up about $2,400 right now. Anyways, HCC96 is liking the Giants at +6 tomorrow, or today, whenever you watch the video. Basically because the Bucs, they had a hard time stopping the Panthers offense when they had an ineffective Cam Newton. So he expects a debut of Daniel Jones to be a little bit of a tougher opponent for the Buccaneers defense to handle, especially with Saquon Barkley available to dump the ball off in the backfield. Now, HCC96 is going to not only take the Giants at +6, but he's also going to sprinkle a little bit of money on that money line as well. So go ahead and follow HCC96 on that play. Next play comes from Picks of Destiny, who has done nothing but basically hand out money with his picks. I definitely recommend following Picks of Destiny either on pickmonitor.com or on Twitter. Picks of Destiny chose to zero in on this Houston Texans playing the Los Angeles Chargers game. And one of the reasons I recommend following Picks of Destiny is because he gets his picks in really early. And case in point, he was able to actually take advantage of the Houston Texans game when he was able to get them at +3.5. Now, I believe they're currently at 3 at most books. But if you can get that half a point, that little hook is really nice to have. Now, Houston, they come in with a healthy receiving core, and the Chargers secondary is a little bit banged up at the moment. Now, some sports, home field advantage is a non-factor, like, a lot of times in baseball or basketball, but football, it matters. But that's not really the case for the Chargers. The Chargers are like the ugly redheaded stepchild in LA right now. Don't nobody care about the Chargers in LA. People would rather follow the Lakers or the Dodgers or the Trojans or the LA Sparks. I mean, bottom line, home field advantage is not a thing for the Chargers in LA, which is evident by their 40% cover rate at StubHub Stadium in the past 2 seasons. Anyways, expect Deshaun Watson to kind of scramble around and make some plays against that Chargers defense. And, Watson has had a historically good history of performances when his teams are underdogs. So the play from Picks of Destiny is to take the points, and if you can get Houston at 3.5, make sure you jump on that. All right, so the Sunday night matchup is going to feature the Rams going into Cleveland to face off against the Browns. And this pick comes from one of Pick Monitor's more established and more decorated members, and that is Gumshoe Gorilla. Gumshoe Gorilla is labeling this his golden banana pick of the week. He likes the Rams laying the points at -3 in this game because through the first 2 weeks, Baker Mayfield has looked a little bit lost, and he's still trying to build some chemistry with his new weapons, and he's working with a makeshift O-line that looks a little bit banged up at the moment. And now that banged up O-line is going to have to deal with the front seven that features Aaron Donald and Clay Matthews, and they're backed up by a secondary that's got Eric Weddle, Aqib Talib, and Marcus Peters. On top of the trouble that the Rams defense can create, Gumshoe Gorilla also points out that the Browns defense can prove to be its own worst enemy to a certain degree because they lack discipline. They're the most penalized team right now coming into week 2 or after week 2. And it just looks like, head coach Freddie Kitchens is got a lack of control on his squad right now. Plus, their defense may be down a couple starters in this game. Their safeties are both nursing injuries, and their linebacker Christian Kirksey possibly is going to need surgery. So, expect the middle of the field, to be a little bit more open or an area for the Rams to attack. Also throw in the fact that Mayfield may be without one of his best targets in David Njoku, and the Browns look like they are going to have a tough hill to climb in this game. Not saying that the Browns can't win, but the way that these teams match up, the Rams definitely look like they have clear advantages all over the field in this game. So Gumshoe Gorilla is going to go ahead and lay the points, take the Rams at -3. Some books may be offering it at -2.5, and if you can get that line, definitely recommend jumping on that as well. Now, as for me, I'm going to give you a slight lean toward the Vikings in the first half. I'm taking the Vikings against the Raiders -4.5. The Raiders got to travel to Minnesota, and, historically speaking, West Coast teams don't bode well on or do well on East Coast trips when they got to start at 10 a.m. Also, I want to point out that Kirk Cousins is in his second year with the Vikings, and expectations were pretty high because when they brought him in, they signed him to this big guaranteed contract. And I think sometimes when people sign a big contract, the expectations are that person is gonna play like their dollar amount would actually suggest. And I don't think that Kirk Cousins is the type of quarterback that can just throw a team on his back and carry him. He's not an elite quarterback, but he's going to do enough for a very good Vikings team if they use him correctly. And I think this year they're going to start doing that because their approach has definitely changed in making sure that they feature Dalvin Cook, who's looking completely healthy now. And it's going to create opportunities for them to use the play action pass. Cousins definitely has his share of weapons with Stephon Diggs, Adam Thielen, and Kyle Rudolph. But anyways, more to the point of why the Vikings, I think, are going to take control in the first half is because, they got Dalvin Cook, who leads the league in rushing right now, and Kirk Cousins has yet to get going, but I think this is the week that he's able to do that because the Raiders are going to try and stack the box and force Cousins to beat them, and the Raiders secondary, they're averaging 342 yards per game given up in the first 2 weeks. Plus, the Vikings have held opponents to an average of 231 yards in the air so far this season, and I just think that the Vikings are going to jump early on the Raiders, and they're going to cover that 4.5 point spread in the first half. All right, so that's what we got for this week 3 in the NFL. If you would like to receive more free picks from PickMonitor.com, be sure to hit that subscribe button in the bottom corner over there. And we're going to be dropping more videos in the future with free picks, also interviews. I'll also be coming back to you this Monday, talking about the Monday Night Football matchup and possibly some free baseball picks as well. In the meantime, I would really appreciate it if you guys would share these videos with anyone that follows football or just sports in general, because we do cover a lot of different action in these videos, so it would be nice to get this in front of as many people as possible and just make sure that people know about Pick Monitor. Alright, so that's what we got, guys. I wish you all the best of luck, and I will see you very soon.